peace, and blessings. All the good things. Today, I got some lavender, skullcap, and dandelion tea. Nice relaxing blend. A little bit of honey in there, of course. But today, if I can get this top on. Today, I'm gonna discuss if I could go back to when I first began to get an inkling of a life bigger than the one that was given to me. What would I do differently? What would I change? How would I approach it? If I were to begin the journey anew, back where I was, going through what I was going through, how would I change it? What I wouldn't change are the checkpoints. See, I'm not saying what I would do differently, what I would change from a place of if I could magically do something outside of human will. I can't change situations. The only thing that I have control over as a human being is how I deal with situations, how I'm processing, how I'm thinking, how I'm acting and responding to the things that are happening around me. That is the only thing that I have control of. It's the only thing any of us can control, how we move through what it is that happens, right? So this is the only thing that I would change. Earlier on in my journey, I would adopt the study of traditional African religions. Earlier on in my journey, I would have took a deeper dive into Africana studies. I would have taken a deeper look into the Black experience worldwide. And I would have released this manufactured fear that somehow the philosophies, the ways of thinking, the traditions of my ancestors are evil and something to be avoided at all costs. Because when I studied history, and I actually began studying these traditions, and I actually began implementing these traditions, I cannot stress this enough. I have never in my entire life been closer to God. There is only one God, my friend, the creator of all of creation and all that is, that lives within each thing. That's the only thing that I would change. I would adopt it earlier without the stress of like, oh, am I going to hell? Like, oh, is this devil worship? It's really helping me heal and get closer to God. But the Bible told me, people in the Black community say that this is evil. You know how stressful that shit was? Just think about that, man. Being resistant to the one thing that has helped me the most, simply because external disturbance. Because when I was in my own body and I was deeper into my own spirit, me and God talking, me and my ancestors talking, man, I've never felt more alive. You know, I was living my life depressed all the time, anxious all the time. I would put on a face of being relaxed and reserved and laid back. And in most situations, you know, I was, but when I got back home, nigga, shit's dark, bro. Addiction wasn't fun. And in fact, I consider it to be warfare. And the only proper weapon, spiritually, for me as a melanated man is the words, sounds, and rhythms of my ancestors, period. The philosophies of my ancestors, period. If I were to go back and change one thing about my journey through those checkpoints, I would have acquired the African worldview much sooner and much more unapologetically, because it's my birthright. You understand what I'm saying? It was created with me in mind. It was preserved, fought for. Blood was shed for this. Tears, sweat was shed for this. Abuse, the most heinous kinds, were persevered through for the African worldview to live on strong. The two things in my studies of Africana studies and African spirituality that have struck me as the eternal and infinite presence of God: African music, African musical traditions, and African storytelling. The power of the voice, the power of the word. We have the unspoken word, which is thought. We have the spoken word, which is words. And we have the action words, which are our actions. But all three are words. It is sound, it is vibration. Everything is vibration. When you think about creation, creation is the word of God. What does the Bible say? That all of this was produced by the word of God. So how is it that my ancestors, who listened closely, who documented and wrote and learned and accepted, assimilated and applied the word of God, or i.e. the math and sciences observable in the cosmos, on the earth, within the self, and then they took that science and to be able to disseminate it to all people, no matter where they are, they put it in their music, they put it in their dance and their rituals, they put it in their drama or their theater or their storytelling. And then they carried it on through oral traditions. How? Where is the devil? Where is evil in that? I see people who were devoted to the Most High. It is imperative, my friend, fundamental, non-negotiable for me personally to look at the world from African eyes. Because if I do not, when I do not, I fall subject to all the dirt and grime and nastiness that is in the story. I'm not here to engage in that. I'm here to bask and be bathed by, and to speak and to radiate the light. I'm here as a child of God, nothing else. So the real evil, the true evil, the ones who built the narrative around our practices saying that they were demon worship, that's the devil to me. But it's very much more complex than just spirituality. Understand what I'm saying? Everything that I've said thus far, I've said it from the perspective of spirituality. And what I mean when I say spirituality is the invisible forces, or in other words, thoughts, emotions, our connection to everything and all things. The concept of God and spiritual forces. All that stuff is invisible. The reality is that we live in a physical world, right? My favorite lines from the Bible is that we do not battle against flesh and blood, but of forces in the spiritual realm, right? Principalities in the spiritual realm. Spiritual realm being the mind and in the heart. Sometimes we fail to realize that there is still spirituality happening in the physical realm. And to me, what I've come to notice that spirituality is business. When I'm interacting with other human beings, even if they're white, I don't see them as evil. I don't see them as, as trying to attack me or trying to hold me down or degrade me in some way. What I do see, though, is that those people come from families, come from bloodlines They come from a side of these systems that are not to my advantage. So even though, I can interact, I can be cordial with anybody. What I won't do though is never again in my life will I not see the world and interact in the world and speak in the world as an African person, because that just doesn't serve the healing that I need and that the people around me need. That doesn't serve the purpose that God put me here to fulfill. I can't do anything that I'm supposed to be doing unless I'm approaching it from the African worldview. And the African worldview is a view that is in alignment with nature, a view that is truly in alignment with nature, truly in alignment with people, truly in alignment with unconditional love and light. But I am not naive in the fact that there is death, darkness, pain, manipulation, interwoven into everything that we interact with, whether we like it or not. So everything that I'm creating from this point forward is with the intention of creating a community where the African worldview is applied, where African sacred science, which can be seen through the different traditions, can be applied by today's African people.